Yeah, we've been working out of town, so I have no freaking service. I had no service while we were working over by LeGrand. So
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
yeah, so like all day I can't really do anything on my phone or on my laptop. So I've been wanting to write D&D stuff, but by the time I get back to my room at night, I'm just like, oh, I want some food and I want to go to bed. I don't want to use my brain.
Yeah, I'm really lazy too. The heat, man. I feel like the heat just turns me into a different person. Just because
Yeah,
I
I
don't do
agree.
anything. It's
No,
like
and we
at
didn't
home.
get it feels like we didn't get much of a spring. Like there wasn't much of a
No.
lead up to the heat.
It was like at least here in Denver, it was like 70 degrees one week. The next week, all week, it was 90 plus degrees.
Exactly, which is a little too much of a jump for me. I don't do good in that.
I don't do good in 90-degree heat if it led up to it. I'm gonna be honest. Just can't handle it.
Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm lucky I don't have to be out in the heat all day, but the times I do have to be out in the heat, I'm just like, this is awful.
just can't handle it. It puts me in a bad mood.
I can't figure out how people live in places like Arizona where it can regularly get up to like 115 degrees.
Oh yeah, but like it's so hot there, plastic fences are melting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How can you live in a place like that where that's even a possibility?
I don't know, like stay inside, like because that's like so hot you really can't be outside.
A guy I work with, he lived in somewhere in Arizona, and he said his electric bill was over $1,000 a month because of how many air conditioners they had to run in their house.
How many air conditioners do you need? Like three?
Probably one in every room to keep it cool when it's 115 degrees outside.
Wouldn't you just have like a better like central air system?
That's what I would do because after a few months, you've paid for central air. Because my central air only cost this with a furnace and air conditioner cost like $5,000 to have installed. So after a few months, he's already paid for that.
I think life without AC in the summertime is meaningless.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how people do it.
I don't either, to be honest. And I feel horrible for anyone who does have to do that because
Like
yeah,
like growing up with like my friend like, oh come over, but like in the summertime and don't have AC. I'm like, I'm not coming to your house, dude. I'm sorry. It's just
yeah.
not worth it.
How about you come to my house where
Yeah,
it's
where
nice
it's
and
like
it's a
it's
cool 70
cold.
degrees? Yeah.
Fuck being in the heat. I just can't handle it. I'm a baby when it comes to being in the heat.
Yeah, I agree. And luckily, like, even though we work, I work outside, but we've been starting at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then we get done around, well, last couple of days, we've been getting done around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the hottest part of the day. So that's terrible. But we were getting done around noon before, so it wasn't too bad.
It was like I woke up at 3 a.m. the other morning and it was freaking 80 degrees outside already.
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
At 3
See,
a.m. What the
yeah, I
fuck?
was just going to say, if it's dark out and still hot, I don't do good in that.
Oh, fucking oh, it's brutal. Like my I just have a little shitty AC unit in my apartment, and it can like barely keep up. The other day it was like 103. It was still hot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sure your little air conditioner has a hard time when it's that hot out.
It only seems to like struggle if I have it off during the day, which I usually do anyway, because I don't want to pay for it all day. I'm not
Right.
here.
Yeah, I think yeah, we when we put central air in our house, it was money well spent. Like if somebody has the money to drop on central air, I would just say go ahead and do it because it's worth it.
Unless you live in like a really cold place where it never gets hot.
Well, sure. I would I'd probably be fine with that though. Like I'd be okay in a place that stays cold most of the year.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Like, where would that be?
I don't know, like Alaska,
It still
some
gets
parts of
hot in Alaska
Canada.
though.
Well, I guess that's true. You've been up there in all part, or during the summer, right? So
Yeah.
how was that?
Well, when the sun's up like all the time, I mean, it's only like, 80 degrees, but still, like that feels so fucking hot. Like,
Oh,
it
for
is
sure.
still brutal. Like I remember sitting in my loader, and like we weren't allowed to start them until the fucking load actually was going because they like tracked how much fuel you used. And
Oh,
I had to
great.
sit there and wait for like an hour because we were waiting to like dock with the ship. Just sitting there, just sweating my ass off as the sun is just like beating right into my face.
Right.
It was
Yeah, and
brutal.
being in the direct sunlight, even in 80 degrees, it starts to feel really
Oh,
hot.
dude. Yeah, fucking. And the mosquitoes are ridiculous. Oh my
Oh,
God.
really?
Yeah, like they were like clouds of them. Like the most
Oh,
mosquitoes I've ever seen in my life. They're like all over you constantly. Anything you don't have covered
oh,
up.
yuck.
We would usually
Ugh.
wear our respirators and like glasses and shit just to keep them off our face.
Oh, that's
I know. It's
horrible.
not even something you would think about, huh?
No, no, especially not in Alaska. I never would have
Yeah.
thought like I would never have thought mosquitoes
They
were
are
horrible.
voracious, dude. I don't know if it was just because like
Great.
where we were, like being by the ocean like that, but
Right.
it was horrible. The
Huh.
mosquitoes were
Interesting.
terrible. You can ask Dad about it. I'm sure he freaking remembers too.
Right. The only parts of Alaska I went to, it was like in the winter time, so it was a frozen wasteland. So,
Yeah, but you were like in the Coast Guard on a boat. It's not like you were hanging out.
well, we did, man. Remember, I was stuck in Dutch Harbor for like 2 weeks, and that
I guess I
was
don't remember
miserable.
that. What did you
It
do?
was it was a long time ago. We didn't do much of anything because there was only like one restaurant, and I wasn't old enough to drink, so I couldn't go to like the two bars. So I didn't do much of anything. Hung out on the ship, played a lot of video games.
Sounds pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dutch Harbor definitely they make it look way cooler on
Deadliest catch?
yeah, they make it look way cooler on
Oh
Deadliest
yeah.
Catch than it is. There's nothing there. People, I'm telling you right now, I've been there. There's nothing there.
It's
It's
funny to me that
ridiculous.
Deadliest Catch is still a show when all of those crab pot people have limits on what they can catch and they all hit it every year.
Right.
So it's not really a
Yeah.
Deadliest Catch anymore where it was just a free for all. It was like catch as many as you could for like the first couple seasons because it's not like that anymore. So what's the point of the show now?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, now it's like Deadliest Race to Catch Your Limit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as crazy as it used to be.
Yeah, well, that's because the whole world is crazy right now.
Yeah, the ocean's on fire. I don't even know what that's about.
Wait, the ocean's on fire?
I don't know. I just saw a meme on Reddit.
Well, uh, I would believe that right now that the ocean is on fire because it seems like that kind of year that the ocean would catch on fire.
I kind of thought that would happen last year.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to think 2021 is worse than 2020 was.
Hang on, I want to comment on that, but yes. So in what the Gulf of where is it? It's called the Eye of Fire.
Okay, sounds
Yeah,
like
there's a
good.
gas
Sounds
leak.
like a great D&D location. I'm listening.
Yeah, actually, I'm calling dibs. It's too bad.
Damn it, good one.
Oh, if we ever get a fucking play, yeah,
I know.
there's a gas leak, and I guess it caught on fire like all the way at the bottom of the ocean. So
That's
the ocean
incredible.
is straight up on fire. In the Gulf
Our
of
ocean is
Mexico.
burning.
Okay.
No wonder it's so hot outside. The ocean
Yeah,
is
the
burning
ocean's
and
on
heating
fire.
up the world.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I mean, we started it though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, dude. Humans, we fuck up everything. So what do you expect?
I kind of think we're just a cancer.
I think we are. I always reference that Joe
The
Rogan thing.
I
he
was gonna
has.
say the same
Yeah.
thing. That's one of
Yeah,
his best
from-
bits.
Yeah, from years and years ago, where he's like, if you see like the Earth from from flying really high up, you're like, man, it looks beautiful down there. He's like, and then you fly over like L.A. and you're like, oh God, what's all that brown stuff? It looks like mold on a sandwich. He's like, that's all we are. We are mold on a sandwich on this
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah, but like, what is our purpose then? If we're like a cancer,
I don't
Why?
know. Then that's what he says next. He's like, I think we're destined to eat the sandwich, which means we're destined to ruin the world.
yeah, but why? Like, I don't-
I was telling Caitlin the other day, I was like, there's no way humans are supposed to be here. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, think about it. we are never comfortable no matter what's going on.
That's very
Like,
true.
It's always too hot. It's always too cold. We don't like the rain. We don't like the heat. We don't like the snow. Like, we don't like anything that ever happens to us. We always, and she's like, I think we just like to complain a lot.
That
I was
too.
like, well, that could be it. But I still don't think we're supposed to be
But
here.
you're right. We take like a perfectly habitable environment for other things and twist it till we're the only thing that can live there.
Yeah. 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 Knock all these trees down so we can build
Yeah.
our little houses that we like to live in. Let's put some paved roads here because I don't like to have the bumpy rocks that were already here.
Yeah. I want to go fast. Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, exactly. Let's crush up all these rocks and mix them with some deadly oil and chemicals so we can make a nice flat road. Can we do that real quick?
Kill that duck, please.
Yeah. It's too close to my house. Let's kill that one. Yeah, we're terrible. We're horrible at everything we do here.
It's just funny that we like change the environment so people don't actually like. I don't even really know how to survive on my own, honestly.
Right.
Like if I had to
Yeah,
truly
no.
be self-sufficient, I don't think I could.
No. See, and I actually don't really like, I don't really like any of the survival shows either that are on because it's like,
Oh yeah, good
even
segue.
on, well, even on like Alone. Have you watched Alone?
Yeah, Dad loves that show. I watched it with him a bunch.
Yeah. So even on Alone, the majority of those people would eventually die, basically, no matter what they were doing, they would die by themselves. So it's like you need other people, which is fine. But then whenever you watch those, like there was that show a long time ago called Utopia, and they were going to put all these
Why does
people
that sound
together.
so familiar?
Well, because they were going to put all these people together. It was like a reality show that was only on for like 6 episodes, I swear, or something. It was super short because they put these people together and they gave them was like a barn and like some land, and it had like a pond and some other stuff. And they were
And a
supposed
gun
to
with
create
one bullet.
they were supposed to create a nice like living. But what was silly about it was they had access to outside sources of like food and stuff. So it's like, well, it's not really a
What?
survival situation. Yeah, they could like buy food and stuff. And within like a few days, people started fighting and they wanted to like kill each other. I was like, yep, that's
like
how we
RimWorld.
are. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, I guess I was thinking of something else. Wasn't there a show? I swear it was on like MTV that was like a biodome, like not like the movie, but like an actual biodome thing.
Maybe there was another one too that was called like the
Because I swear
Colony
we
or
used to
something.
watch it together.
Maybe. I can't remember. Can't think of it right now off the top of my head.
Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe it was some sort of fever dream that I had.
It would probably be a good show though.
See, like I like reality TV. I can't lie. Like I love a good cooking show. I love the competition based ones, not stupid fucking Kardashians just existing.
Right. I know what you mean. Like, but I mean, let's
I
be
eat
real.
that shit up though.
I don't know though. We've been watching this other show on Netflix where this guy just goes around and he goes to like restaurants and tastes their food and says like which one was best. And the only reason this guy is the host is because he supposedly had like one really popular YouTube video a long time ago where he ate like I don't know, like an Arby's sandwich and he reviewed it on his phone, like video.
Oh shit! What's this guy's name? I bet I know who this is actually.
Damon.
What's the show called? Do you remember?
No, not off the top of my head. I ran an Alpha Brain. I should have led with that when we started this episode.
Fair enough.
So if I can't think of things, I swear to God, that's why. No, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I swear it's something like fried, crispy, and something. And yeah, he goes around and he just goes to these restaurants in different places, which that's fine. That's fine. Because I like to see the stuff that people are coming up with. Like the one guy had, I think I told you about this. He had like
fresh fried and crispy.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, fresh fried and crispy. Yeah.
Is this the guy that would like has the meme where he's like, damn, 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 damn?
Yes, yeah, that's him.
Okay,
yeah.
I knew. Okay, I thought it might be him.
Yeah, but the show is not that good. Like,
stop
it's
watching
really
it.
not. Well, yeah,
It's just that easy.
I did like though. He went to some place where they had like rattlesnake and there's like rattlesnake and pheasant like sausage hot dog things. I was like, that's kind of cool.
You ever had rattlesnake?
No,
I've had some fried. It's not that bad. Tastes
Not
like
that bad.
like this is gonna sound like the dumbest shit ever, but it tastes just like chicken.
sure. I mean, you can fry like a sock and people will eat it.
That's
so-
very true.
you know.
I've had alligator before. I tried frog legs. Kind of gross.
See, I've never had any of that stuff. I'm not a big like exotic eater.
Well, I mean, most of the time it's me trying stuff that other people had bought because I'm not gonna waste
Right.
money on food I'm not gonna like.
That's a good idea. And it's funny because I say exotic, and those things like alligator, rattlesnake, like that's kind of exotic to me. But for like people in the South, that's just they're like, you mean Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays? Like,
Yeah, well, we
what we
had to
eat.
kill the snake. He was on the porch.
yeah, that's what I mean. But
We're
then
not
again,
gonna
there's
not eat it.
there's other people who call like deer and elk
Yeah,
exotic.
That is
you know?
so fucking true. Like
That's
yeah.
and that's weird.
Oh, I'm not a. I don't never really had venison. I'm like, what? Who the fuck are you? What are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean you've never had venison?
Yeah,
It's what are you missing? It's delicious too. Like, come on.
yeah. I just where we grew up is kind of special.
Yeah, I think so in that regard for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of like, honestly like a sheltered life kind of
Right?
compared to what everybody else had to put up with.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's tucked into a little freaking tiny, tiny corner of Oregon that most people wouldn't even be able to find on a map if they had to. So
It kind of blows my mind that they're getting a Panda Express in the Grand.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Dad
did
was
it.
talking about it.
We
And
did
he's
it.
all pissed off. He's like, "That's how you know it's getting too big."
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think it'll be good, but it also wouldn't surprise me if after like 2 or 3 years it went out of business. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Panda Express is at least the ones here are always popping.
Well,
Like there's always people going to them.
yeah, don't get me wrong. People love their fast food. So
Yeah,
that's
Panda.
one of the
Like,
sad things about LeGrand, I think, is that when you go there, there's very few, like I like side A a lot, but there's very few other things I can name off the top of my head that are really good, just like mom and pop, places to eat anymore.
yeah, it's been a while since I've been there. I think
Yeah, most of it though is like fast food and chain stuff. So
we got a lot of Chinese places.
speaking of which, I went to Moy's.
Oh,
The
I
other
thought you were
day,
gonna say they went out
we
of
were still-
business. It's gonna have a heart attack.
Well, they were closed because they didn't have enough staff to open.
Yeah, I believe it. I bet they don't want to pay anybody anything.
I don't know. Yeah, it said they're looking for kitchen staff and they can't open right now because they don't have enough people. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining because, like, yeah, that unemployment stuff sucks, but because of that, they gave us a bunch of raises at work, so I'm not complaining.
oh really? Well, that's good.
I mean, I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. That's stupid. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish I would get a raise, but I'm under contract, so I can't get a raise. So
I guarantee you still make more money than me.
well, that's beside the point. But doesn't matter because we both have to live through this freaking global warming. We'll circle back around to that. I was telling Caitlin, I said that I was like, it's so hot out. It's got to be that global warming they've been talking about.
No, I mean, it is, right? Like,
It has to be.
supposedly we've already broken a bunch of records for like heat like all around the world.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was in like June, which is supposed to be a pretty mild
Mhm.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so-
the thing that's the thing that people were like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, I mean, we were steadily hitting over 100 degrees in June, which is like almost unheard of for our area.
Mhm. And it's
And
just
it
gonna
wasn't
get
by
worse, I
like,
think.
like sometimes they'll be like, oh, we broke the heat record for whatever. It's like the last hottest was in 1979 and it was 102, and today it was 102.9. It's like, no, back in 79 it was like 102. Today it was 114. Like it's
Yeah, it's
like,
like, oh shit.
yeah, it's like crazy high compared to what it used to be.
Well, I want to say somewhere it was like Germany or France. Like it was the hottest it's ever been, and like records dating back to the 1500s.
Probably like since they have been able to record
Yeah,
temperature.
exactly. Somebody was like, "My God!"
That's great.
Don't
Oh,
get
man.
nobody get offended, please.
Oh, dude, it's okay. You can make fun of German people all you want.
It's true. I am half German. I look the most German in our family, probably.
You really do. Everybody assumes I'm Irish because I have red facial hair. So
Yeah, I know. We don't really look that much alike. It's so weird. we both got just different hair types.
yeah, like as in you have a lot and I have none.
No, that's not what I mean.
we
You
can-
have like curly, bushy hair, and I have long, straight hair.
That's true. Yeah,
Freaking
yeah.
weird.
And I have a lot of facial hair, and you don't have a lot.
I have like none. It's fucking
Right.
embarrassing.
No, dude, I don't have any hair on my head, so now my facial hair is all
Yeah,
I
but
got
you have
left.
the fucking pirate captain beard that demands respect.
Nice.
Oh. Have you shaved your beard around your kids yet? Has that happened?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had to be clean shaven. I was clean shaven not that long ago, so. And Ace loves it when I'm clean shaven because
Really?
he just likes the way my face feels, so he sits there and just touches my face all the time because
Huh.
it feels weird.
I always hated
And
when Dad would
actually-
shave his.
Well, and I never had that like, TikTok worthy moment where I film my kids when I come out of the bathroom after I shaved and they're like, look at me weird. I come out and Ridge is like, why'd you shave your face? So
You look
just-
dumb,
he-
Dad. Ooh.
he just knows like right away. Yeah, it's nothing special around my kids. So
Kind of lame. It's not what I was expecting you to say.
no, unfortunately, I don't have any of those cool stories where they're like, their kids screamed and ran from them because they didn't know who they were. I didn't have anything like that.
Speaking of
so.
TikTok, did you see that? Like, I doubt you've seen the TikTok because it's not very good. So this guy like goes up. It's some foreign country. I'm not sure where. I think it's the Middle East. But they like go up in front of this like trolley car and they like set up a desk real quick and he like smokes a cigarette right there while the trolley's honking at him. All three of the people involved in that got 3 years in prison.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Just to be TikTok famous.
Dude, I hope anybody listening, especially young people, take note of that because, yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The internet fame is not worth it. So dumb,
Yeah. For your 5 minutes in the light.
if even.
Yeah.
Plus, like I was just watching a video last night. It was a YouTube video, and they were talking about some guy who he has like 2.8 million on TikTok or whatever, and he just does short videos. And somehow the conversation got around to the one guy was doing YouTube shorts, they have to be 30 seconds or whatever or less. And he said he had like 2 million views on one of his short videos, and he only had made $30 off of it.
Yeah, I
So-
believe that. Supposedly the YouTube algorithm is fucked. Like the way that people
Right.
get paid now is messed up.
Yeah, dude. See, and that's like I've made a few videos on my own YouTube channel trying to tell people like, look, that's great. Like if you want to be like YouTube famous, you want to play video games for, your income, whatever. That's a great aspiration to have, but don't put all your eggs in that basket because at any one point that carpet can just be pulled right out from under you and then you have nothing.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so saturated now Like
It is.
it's not even like even the people who make good stuff, I feel like it's not very good anymore.
No, and you know why? And that's what this guy was kind of talking about in that video is he said most of those people get to the point where all they're doing is trying to chase the algorithm.
Mhm.
They're not just putting out the same content they always wanted to. Now they're trying to chase the algorithm to make them stay relevant. So,
Well, I don't know if you've been paying attention to Donkey, but he had like that thing where he's like, I'm done making good videos, and he like made a good bunch of points. It's like if it takes me a week to make one of these videos, I get like an average of 1 million views. And he shows Markiplier who did 7 videos in a week, and he had more views on just those 7 videos that he's just churning out as fast as he can than Donkey had the whole time that he's been making videos. It's like
right.
it's
Yeah,
not
because
profitable.
right. And because Markiplier is good at following the algorithm. He's always been that way. That's why I stopped watching him. I used to watch him when he would just play games and he was kind of funny when he would just do an initial like playthrough, but now he's just following the algorithm, like doing, with his face in the corner, those kind of videos. That's like what people want to see for some weird reason.
Yeah, it is kind of made this like weird genre almost of like let's plays as a thing. And they're all like almost the same. It almost
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
even
they
matter
are.
who you watch.
No,
It's like
and
the
like
same shit.
yeah, like I watch John Wolf sometimes because he only usually plays like horror games, and I don't ever want to play horror games because I don't think they're any fun. So
Like a
I
couple
just
spooky games. Is
it
Bloodborne
just
a horror game?
and I should that has like an asterisk above it. But I'd rather just watch somebody else play them if I know they're gonna be shitty. So I watch John Wolf. But you could easily put like a John Wolf and a Markiplier video side by side, and there wouldn't be a whole lot of difference.
Dude, what
So
you should do is take the video, like the gameplay from one person and put the face from the different person and like put them together, and I bet nobody can even fucking tell the difference.
and see if like paste their little their audio track and then their little
Yeah.
webcam picture in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
and then just use the footage from somebody else. I bet if
Right.
nobody would even fucking know.
No, that's true. The only thing I find still funny about John Wolf is that he like while he's playing, he'll be like, "Oh, I can hear the comments now. John, you're just not taking this game seriously. You just don't know what this game is about." So he does kind of talk shit about people who talk shit about him, which I find funny. But other than that, it's copy and paste.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. We're gonna have like a whole
Close.
generation of people who wanted to be YouTube famous. I know you talked about this, where like we're gonna have a whole generation of people who don't know how to fucking do anything.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's just it. Okay. So young people listening and older people, if you have this aspiration, just don't forget the world that we have created as humans, no matter what, like no matter how bad it is or how bad you think it doesn't run on YouTube. That's impossible. So just don't forget there is a lot of other jobs out there that need to be done for this thing to work that we've created. So
Tell the robots come.
until the robots come. Yeah. Have you seen that freaking thing of Mark Zuckerberg where he's like says something about yeah, back when I was human, which I still am a human, and I was back then too. Like, dude, it's so weird and awkward
What?
that I am
Wait a
maybe
minute. This
convinced.
isn't like a meme. This is something
Oh
he
no, no,
said.
no. Yeah, this is real. This is a real like
Oh,
thing he
that like
says.
genuinely fills me with dread.
No. Dude, and there was another one where I think he's on like 60 Minutes or whatever that is with what's her name? Barbara Walters.
Why would
Her
I?
name?
You think I watch 60 Minutes? Do you know who you're
Anyway,
talking to?
the only reason I say it that way is because it could have been edited to be funny like this, but she asks him a question, okay? And she's like smiling and he's just staring at her. And it clips back and forth a few times, like to her, and each time her face is like falling a little more. And I was like, come on, they like edited all this together to make it look stupid. And they might have, but if they did, it's very well done because after about 30 seconds of going back and forth between him and her, she goes, You're just staring at me. You're not answering me. And I was like, oh my God, did he really just sit there that long on this TV show and stare at her? And he goes, I'm sorry, was that supposed to be a question? It's like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, I definitely just watched that video. It's really disturbing.
Yeah, I think he is a robot and he was sent here to take over.
No, he's a
The
lizard
humans.
person.
That's maybe more likely.
I don't. Why? Yeah, he might be a robot, but I don't know. I feel like if he's a robot, he's not a very good like human simulacrum. He's just
Well, he's learning.
yeah, but fucking he missed the day on drinking water.
I just like that clip where he's it's not even a clip, actually, it's a picture. But it's this room filled with people all wearing like VR headsets, and he's the only one walking through the middle with no headset on.
Yeah, it's really
So
creepy, dude.
Yeah, so it's like, what is this leading to? Like this looks scary.
Fuck. I mean, I'm not worried about VR. I guess we can all maybe we are all already are in a simulation, but fucking put me in a simulation if it's better. There's AC in the room that I'm in the simulation in. I'm good.
Right? I know, but for some reason I feel like the simulation might need a hard reset soon. I feel like the viruses have taken it over.
Or they're just like fucking messing with the dials to see what we would do.
Yeah. When you say stuff like that, all I think about is when I play like RimWorld, for example, and I'm like, what if I do this? Or what if this happens? And then I think, what if someone is doing that to all of us right now?
It might be.
What if I started a fire over here? What will these little people do?
It's freaking one big ass game of Sim City.
Exactly. Yeah. What if I released a virus over here in this place? What would happen? Oh, damn. Almost came to a screeching halt for almost one full in-game year. Actually, it'd be more than one in-game year.
Yeah, it's still kind of going on.
Yeah, which is really pissing me off, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been over it for a long time.
I know. What's really, really, really pissing me off is when I call vendors like for my job and they're like, oh yeah, this stuff's on back order, COVID. I'm like, dude, that excuse would have worked like 18 months ago. What are we doing here? What's going on?
I feel like they're just lying. At that point.
Exactly.
It's like,
Although one kid made a good point. He said that he thinks there is actually a lot of stuff close to the country, but it's all sitting offshore on cargo ships that they just will not, because they're taking so long to inspect them now.
oh, that makes sense.
It's just taking a long time for items to actually reach the shore that should have already been here.
Well, they probably make them quarantine in the water, right? Before they even go on there.
Probably, yeah. They might even be still doing some crazy shit like 14 days before they'll let them fully approach the dock, to make sure that everybody's clean or whatever.
I feel like you would know about that, right? Freaking Coast Guard. Like what?
No, because we never dealt with anything like this when I was in.
I mean, but like, what would be the protocol? Now, I mean, if you don't have any knowledge on this, but like, if there was like a cruise ship when they like catch like some sort of deadly virus or something, like, what's the protocol of like the Coast Guard for handling something like that?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that because I didn't deal with a lot of that stuff. I was strictly maintenance side of almost everything.
You were pouring motor oil directly on engines, right? That's maintenance,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that is the maintenance I would do.
You like turn a bolt and then turn it back the other way.
Got it.
Perfect. I just imagine like you and another guy just like you crank it one way and he pushes it back to you and you just keep pushing it back and forth, not actually going anywhere.
Yeah. So it's just going left and right, left and right. It never goes around. Yeah.
And like a whistle blows. You're like, ooh, that's our shift.
Yeah. Yeah. We would do that for 16 hours a day.
Oh my
and
god.
Some days it was rough. Other days it was great. But yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious, how did they handle like outbreaks back in the day? I guess they probably didn't even fucking know what was going on, like with the Black Plague and shit. But like they had to have had like protocols to like
The
keep
the
a
only
ship.
one I can think of that was like in the recent enough past is I actually saw a YouTube video when COVID started. It was about, I don't know, 6 months in. They put out this comparison video between COVID and the Spanish flu back in like the 1920s, which people were pointing to the fact that it's very weird that Spanish flu was in the 20s and this happens to be in like the 2020s. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
didn't the Black Plague happen on a 22? I can't
probably,
like I think like 1820 or something, maybe like 1720. Probably way further
maybe.
back than that.
Um, but so they were talking about the Spanish flu, and now that to me seemed much more scary than like what COVID was, because people at one point it mutated to a point where people would get sick, like they'd wake up with a cough and they'd be dead by lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was no like, I mean, and it was subjective too because the amount of people who died from it actually was very low. Um, but there was also one point where people were like bleeding from their eyeballs, and I was like, okay, now that sounds scary.
Yeah,
Um,
that is pretty horrifying.
but they talked about like one event because they were, even back then they were trying to tell people like, look, we probably should wear masks, you know, to try to stop the spread of this, and we should limit like large events. And I can't remember where it was. It was like Philadelphia or something. There was supposed to be like a parade or some big event, and they were trying to tell everybody, look, don't go to this event. Like there's a big deal going on where everybody's getting sick. Don't do this. And everybody did it anyways. And like a huge outbreak happened because nobody listened to the instructions. So I was like, huh, maybe there's something to that. But yeah,
Yeah, bleeding from your eyes sounds awful. Oh.
exactly. The
So
thing about
what
the
happened
Spanish
to the
flu,
Spanish flu then? Is it just gone? Why didn't I get inoculated
yeah,
against that?
you might have. I don't remember what it's called, and it might have been part of a SARS thing. So you might have.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, but it mutated. Supposedly, it went. They had three major waves, and the third wave was like the worst in terms of like the symptoms that would happen to people, where they would like, you know, like I said, they wake up with a cough and they're dead by lunchtime. But supposedly, it mutated again, and it was easier to handle the fourth time. Like it actually mutated worse or something like that. I'm probably completely butchering this. I watched like a 20-minute History Channel thing about it. So
So you're obviously an expert.
exactly. So if you guys have like a thesis on the the Spanish flu you need to fill out, just go ahead and
Yeah.
contact us,
Hit record right now. Yeah.
kottpod@gmail.com.
Hit record.
Yeah.
Send in the whole podcast because this is gold.
Yeah. Only dropping knowledge here, okay?
Yeah.
Um, but the only thing I know is like the symptoms of the Spanish flu. I was like, okay, now if COVID had been like that, like if I watched somebody start bleeding from their eyes and then they died, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to catch that at all. But the way this kind of went down, you know, I knew a few people who got it and they were like, yeah, you know, I just got some like body aches and stuff, and I kind of had a bad cough, but other than that, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, then what the fuck is going on? Why did the world come to a screeching halt because of this?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly.
I I don't know. Maybe there's a reason they call it the pandemic. I don't know.
Yeah, but why? Like that's what I don't
I
understand. Because
I don't know.
I kind of thought like maybe it had something to do with the election, but the fact that it's still going at this point, like I don't understand. I guess the end game of like what would have been
Right.
the point of it then.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is I'm over it, and I wish the rest of the world was too.
Yeah, let's just move on. People die, they die.
Yeah, and I mean, it just that was what pissed me off though. It's like, okay, if this is a real like deadly thing, then yeah, let's do something. But like I said, once I started hearing about like, oh, there's 10,000 new cases and 58 deaths. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? This is crazy. Why are we shutting the world down? Because some people are getting sick and dying at the rate that's actually average for the year. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I mean, that's
understand.
kind of a point. Like a
I
point.
mean, I didn't get it at all, and I still don't. So I don't know, man.
Oh, sorry. I'm
It's
just trying to read about. I'm interested if there was an inoculation for the Spanish flu.
like a whatchamacallit?
Yeah, like a
Uh,
vaccine.
a vaccine, yeah.
Doesn't sound like it.
A whatchamacallit. See, you know how many times I say whatchamacallit when I'm taking Alpha Brain? Pretty much zero.
Never.
Yeah, because I'm very rarely ever struggling to find words that I need to describe something.
Dude, one side effect about Alpha Brain that that is either a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if you experience this, but I definitely it heightens all of my senses, especially smelling, which can kind of be
Oh,
bad.
really?
Because like the other day, a freaking garbage truck drove past me. I could smell that thing for like 45 straight minutes. I'm not kidding.
Oh no.
Like it drove past me and it smelled so bad. I had the windows down on my work truck. It smelled so bad it made my eyes water.
Oh no. No, I don't think I don't think that I have that problem with
I wouldn't
Alpha
say it's a
Brain.
problem. It's just something I noticed. Like my smelling ability is insane.
Interesting.
I feel
I
like
mean,
I can see better too. I don't know.
You can what?
I can see better.
That might be true, to be honest. There's been a few times where I've been like, and this is really weird, but like, the difference between like a 60 FPS screen and like 144 hertz
Yeah.
screen. There's times where I feel like my vision does that change, where it gets really smooth for some
Yeah,
reason.
that's what I mean by better by see better.
Yeah.
Like not
It's
necessarily
just
I can
funny.
see further, but like I don't know, it's just
Right.
crisper. I don't know how
Yeah,
to put it into words.
No, I think you did a good job because that's exactly it. It's hard to describe, but I think that's exactly it. It just seems like everything is a bit smoother around the edges.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't know, and that could be the Alpha Brain. I don't know.
I feel like Alpha Brain has something to do with it. It's just I can't not take it ever since I started taking it again. If I don't
know,
take it, I feel like a dumbass.
I need to order some more. I've been off it for about a week now, and I'm already feeling it that I'm not taking it.
I take it every day.
Yeah, I usually do too.
I took some right before we did this.
Oh, good call. Good call. I wish I had some to take. I should have done the same thing.
Well, I know this is gonna sound weird, but one thing I noticed too when I take it is that I make more jokes when I take it. Like, and I don't know. I don't know why.
You know why I think it is because your quick response is way higher.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like my
You
brain's
know?
not doing the like
Right. Like 10 minutes from now, you
Yeah.
won't be like, man, I should have said this.
Yeah.
It just comes to you when you're on Alpha Brain. It's crazy. So I guess this whole segment, that's basically just a free shout out for Alpha Brain because we love that stuff.
Yeah, we're shills when we don't get
Yeah.
paid.
Oh, yeah. I wish I was a shill. I wish I got paid to talk about stuff.
I mean,
Dude,
we talk about Audible for free.
Oh yeah, pretty much every day, which is just crazy.
Sorry, yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I saw a YouTube video and a guy took my idea. He was like, said something, and he's like, right after today's sponsors, and then he just stood there and he was like, I'm just kidding, nobody sponsors this channel. I was like, God damn it, that was my idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I thought that was hilarious. And it worked out for him perfectly. I knew we should have done that on one of our episodes.
I mean, we still could. It's not like he has a patent on it.
That's true. We still can. And our roundtable chats don't get that much traction, so I'm not that worried about it.
I mean, about the same as the others.
Do they really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
about the same. It's about like 8, 9, 10.
How's our Oliver Wyman one been
Not
doing?
not that good. Less than the one about Shadow and Bone.
Really?
Is that what it's called?
Yes, Shadow and
Damn,
Bone.
I
Yeah,
got it right.
you got it right. Well, if that's the case, Oliver, if you're listening to this, please start spreading the word about your episode with us. We would really appreciate that, man.
I mean, not. I hope Oliver's not listening because this is gonna be mean. But like, he doesn't have that many followers on Twitch, which kind of surprises me.
I mean, like you said though, man, like we were talking about earlier, unfortunately he's trying to get into a pretty saturated market.
Yeah,
Really.
but he can do. He sounds amazing. Can listen to that man read
I
the
know.
phone book.
I know. But
Like,
I mean, he was playing. Last thing he was playing was Dark Alliance, which we know that's kind of a wet fart. So
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
that's not his fault at all. And I feel bad, man. He was hyped for it too.
I would watch him play D&D. Like if he, I would. You could probably pick up so many good ideas.
Oh, you mean if he did like a critical
Role.
role type thing?
Yeah, dude. I
Oh,
would watch the
fuck yeah, dude. In a heartbeat. I know. That's why, like, when he was on that episode with us, we were like, why don't you and your friends just start like a YouTube live play of D&D? And he said the other guys don't want to do it. And I'm like, well, you need to find somebody who does. Because, like,
I mean,
obviously him as the DM, like, that'd be perfect.
I understand that, like, as a player, like not wanting to be putting on a performance and
Oh,
playing.
yeah, for sure.
Like, I understand
yes, I
that.
agree.
But get better friends, Oliver. I don't know what to tell you because
Well,
you probably got some gold.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be putting on a performance either, but that's what I would tell my players is like, look, just play like you would play. I mean, that's to me, those are the better like live play D&Ds, and there's not very many good ones out there, let's be honest. I don't even actually like Critical Role that much. So because I think all of those people are putting on a show and I don't
I mean,
really,
they're all attention-seeking horrors, as all actors are.
that's kind of what I'm saying though, is that's why I don't think I like that one. Now the other couple of D&D live play ones that I listen to, I like more because they are just players. Like that's not their whole career is to play D&D. They just play because they enjoy playing.
What's the other one you listen to? Critical Hit. Don't they
Critical
play
Hit, yeah.
4th edition?
Yeah, at least to the point where I've listened to still they only play 4th edition.
I'm amazed that they play 4th edition because that's like considered to be like the worst one, like by far.
Well, it's very
that's
different.
why Pathfinder exists is because of 4th edition.
What do you mean?
Because people were looking for a better system, so they moved over to Pathfinder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and Pathfinder is based on 3.5 D&D.
Yeah, it's also its own like world thing. It's like its own like instead of Forgotten Realms, it's like Pathfinder, whatever. I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the original rule set was based on D&D 3.5 rules. But I think you're probably correct because Pathfinder came out while 4th edition was in like its heyday. So you're probably exactly right. It was people wanting to go back to that older edition.
Yeah, and then supposedly people don't like 5th edition very much either, but I don't agree.
I don't either. I mean, I haven't played another edition, but like 4th edition seems complicated to me compared to 5th edition. And that's what a lot of people on that podcast complain about is going from 4th to 5th is that 5th edition is so watered down. Basically, it's too basic, they say.
I think it's just streamlined.
I think so too. That makes sense to me.
And I think it has a lot like it's more up to like the DM for like deciding what your roles are going to be like of what stats you're going to be using instead of like, oh, I'm using my climbing skill.
True.
Which I have a plus 15 because I have a grappling hook.
in fourth edition too, there was a lot of like this attack targets your, it's like uh whatever, intelligence versus will. Like you had a lot more like saving stats instead of base stats like you
Oh,
have in,
interesting.
yeah. So you know how like all of your saves in um fifth edition are based on your base stats pretty much. And then you might have a few that you're proficient in that makes you a little better.
Equipment
In
can
fourth
affect
edition,
that too, and spells.
true, exactly. And in fifth edition, there's like will and athletic, or I can't even think of all of them, but there's a bunch of them that are separate from like your base stats. And that's what certain attacks would target to see if they would hit or not. So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Is armor class
Like
handled the same way, or is it wonky?
it's kind of different because very rarely in fourth edition would anybody do a basic attack. Almost everything
Oh,
was a
that's right. It's like
spell.
an ability based thing, kind of.
Yeah, almost everything, even the fighter, almost everything he would do. So
I'm
you
gonna hit
had
him with
like,
my stunning blow.
well, yeah, you had like so you have like at wills. This was a big difference I noticed. You have at will attacks, you have encounter attacks, which only refresh after every encounter, and then you have dailies. So those are like your big, your finishing move. And but like a lot of people's at wills, like the one guy is a fighter and he has like a sweeping blow that can hit guys. It can hit like guys in a cone in front of him. That's like an at will attack. So of course he's going to use that every single time.
Instead of just a basic attack.
Exactly. So very rarely does anyone make a basic attack in fourth edition. It's always an ability.
That's interesting because like in fifth edition, like even like a level 20 barbarian, he's probably just going to attack you 3 times, probably hitting you for 50 damage a piece though.
Right. But it's going to be with a basic attack for the most part. Yeah. And I think to me, that's a little bit easier in the long run. So
simpler to understand.
I think so.
I don't know. Like, I'm dumb. So I need simple things.
Yeah, exactly. The more simple, in my opinion, the better.
At least when it comes to D&D.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to most things in life, for me, to be honest.
That's fair. Oh, man.
Oh man, is right.
Any opinion on the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight that's going to go on tonight?
No, I didn't know there was even a fight tonight because that's how much I don't follow any of that stuff anymore. So
I only pay attention because I want Conor to lose.
to lose, wow, really?
Well, I feel like he's washed up at this point, and
He kind of is.
He just doesn't want to admit it.
The only reason I say he kind of is too is I feel like he was the perfect puppet for MMA,
Yeah.
especially for UFC. He was perfect because he already liked to talk a lot of shit, and he was really good. So he was perfect because UFC's like, dude, we can so easily hype the shit out of this guy. He'll do it for himself, and he did. He sold so many fights. So then it makes it even better for them when somebody does finally come along and beat him because they're like, oh, it doesn't matter because we already got the hype out of him.
Yeah, and like all the shit with Khabib, like I feel like he didn't handle that very well. Just like him throwing the fucking dolly at the bus and shit.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's kind of a joke. He just I feel like he let the fame go to his head.
Well, I think that's kind of how MMA is, though, because
that's fair.
At least in the years that I've been watching it, which hasn't been like, I haven't watched in a long time, so I don't even know who is who of MMA right now. But like even while I was watching it, I watched it probably for like a good 5 or 6 years straight, and was very into it. But it never failed. They were like, this guy is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Next fight, he'd fucking lose. It's like, wait a minute, what? So then the guy who beat him, they're like, this guy is the best pound for pound fighter in the world.
Yeah.
And then he'd fucking lose. I'm like, what is happening? Like, why do you guys keep saying that? Because clearly there's always somebody better, no matter what. Even if it takes years, there's always going to be somebody better.
Oh, of course. Isn't that like the point of sports, I guess, is that there's always going to be somebody better, right? Eventually.
I mean, yeah, I think so. Plus,
Yeah.
I liked MMA because it was just two people for the most part, just fighting. And not like I hate sports teams events because I think just sports teams events are ridiculous. So
Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff either. Like I don't really even understand like how people get so excited about that shit.
no, it's almost disgusting to me at times.
Yeah, it kind of is. Especially like college stuff really is weird to me. Like I don't really understand that. Like it's one thing I guess if you went to school there, but like there are like diehard fans who for a school they've never been to.
Right,
It's so
yeah.
odd to me.
Well, the whole thing has always been, it's like had this weird place to me ever since like high school because I specifically remember, I mean, it didn't happen a lot like at our school because it was so small, but like you go to like bigger schools and I played a lot of video games in school and people would call me a nerd. And I'm like, you're the same guy who knows all these stats about all these pro like football players and basketball players and baseball players. I'm like, if anybody's the nerd here, it's you.
Yeah,
Not
it is just a
me.
different type of nerd.
Exactly, but they don't see it that way because it's sports and it's so manly. It's like, come on, man. Give me
You're
a
on my
fucking
level,
break.
bro.
Yeah. You're not on my fucking level. Do you even sports, bro?
Do you even sports?
Yeah, why are you holding your arms like that? It looks so awkward. Like,
Yeah, I just imagine him like leaning in and menacing over you for no reason.
yeah, holding his shoulders out to make
Yeah,
himself
dude,
look
and like his
bigger.
arms out to the
Yeah.
side at like a cocked angle, and his arms like making right angles.
Oh, I guarantee you're doing the same
Yeah,
impression I
I was
am.
trying to explain it.
Yeah, that's perfect. But it's so true though. That's how so many guys are, and it's like, what are you even talking about? What does watching sports, not playing sports, watching sports? What does that have to do with being manly? That's so weird.
Oh, don't even get me on the travesty that is freaking video game sports. Like, how is that a thing? Like, how the fuck are those still a thing? Yearly releases of basically the same game. If you're dumb enough to buy
Right.
those every year, I feel like you deserve to get scammed.
I agree. Yeah,
Oh, the 2K this year's really good, dude. I've never cared.
no.
Like, no one.
The only
like,
thing-
you shouldn't care either.
The only thing I liked, there was one, we used to play FIFA on the boat, and the only thing that was fun about that is it was on the PlayStation 3. So like 4 of us could play at the same time. That was the only thing that was fun about it.
Yeah,
It might have even more than that. It might have been 6 people at a time. Either way, that was the only thing that we liked about it is that multiple, a bunch of people could get in on it at the same time.
Woo, goal.
Yeah. Other than that, though, there was plenty of times where I was like, man, this game's dumb.
Yeah, dude. Oh, you want to come over and play some sports games? No, I don't. Oh, you're a gamer, right? Yeah, good game.
And
you know
then-
this is like the bottom of the barrel, right?
we finally, somebody pulled their head out of their ass on the boat and got Halo 3 dusted off, and we had some Halo 3 going on, and that was great. That was
Yeah.
so fun.
Didn't you like encounter some people who were better than you, which blows my mind?
Oh yeah, actually quite a few people, to be honest. There was one guy when I was in Michigan, him and I would go back and forth a lot. And he was always at like a different part of the ship while we were playing. And he would I would usually be in the rec room and he'd be up in the first class lounge. And he would call the rec room and be like, let me talk to Ryan. You son of a bitch.
That is the coolest thing I've ever heard. How have I never heard about that?
I don't know. It was pretty funny though.
I like imagine you like sniping some guy and like next to you a phone rings. You're like, hello?
Yeah, dude, that's how it was.
Like that's hilarious.
Yeah, because we didn't have headsets. Because we were
Oh,
basically on
dude.
just a land. It was basically a land party,
Which is
but we were
so
on different parts of the
cool.
boat. It was funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Talking shit like over the PA system.
Yeah.
Knight is a faggot. Over.
Oh man. And the thing is though, I think he was better than me, but he must have never come up to anyone who was even close to him. So when I would kill him, it just
He's like,
really pissed him
wait a
off.
minute, I died.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a death animation in this game?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
That's like back in the day playing with my friends, like with my friends, not your friends. When we would play Halo, it wasn't
Right.
even fun. I would just like romp or stomp them. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, oh yeah, all the time. Like we would
Oh,
play
wow.
like the Juggernaut, you know, where it was like one person got like the superpowers and then like everybody was trying to kill them to get points. I remember
Uh-huh.
we played like 4 matches in a row where I didn't lose it the whole game. I was like, I gotta put the
Great.
controller down, guys. This isn't even fun.
Oh,
I wasn't even very good.
sucks.
That's like because you were always way better than me, like well, hey, head and shoulders above.
Well, and my friends at one point, because we used to do LAN parties all the time where we take like two Xbox 360s over to one house, there'd be like 8 of us playing. My friends actually, there was like 3 or 4 of us that were about on the same level. So we were all pretty good. And then I remember playing online for the first time and I was whipping people's asses. And I was like, wait, what? Isn't everybody online supposed to be really good?
Nope.
And
That's the best
then
part.
though there was always the odd match you'd come into where there's always one guy who's better than everyone in the game.
Yeah, nobody can kill them.
Yeah, nobody could touch this guy. And actually, when I was in Hawaii, me and this other kid, I had to house sit for a guy. So this other guy, a friend of mine came over and we hooked up my Xbox online and we were playing doubles on Halo 3 or duels or whatever it was called. And we were kicking ass. Like we had won like 6 or 8 games in a row. And we got paired up with these other 2 guys who were talking shit the whole time. And it was like
With the location mic, right? Like you got close to them and you
yes.
could hear them.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes. They were talking shit with the location mic. And we were getting so pissed. Dude, and I can't remember what it was. Like it was maybe to like 25 kills, first to 25. If I'm just using this as an example, but it was probably 25-3 at the end of the game.
Shit. Oh my
They-
god.
They whipped the shit out of us. We could not even touch these guys.
Wow.
And it's because at that point we were getting frustrated, so we were running
Yeah,
in
you
like
just
one at
play
a time.
worse.
Yeah, dude. And the one guy would he would duck. Dude, I still remember this. He would duck inside of a doorway behind it so you couldn't see him, and his buddy would move into the doorway and shoot out and then run away backwards. So you'd chase him, and then the other guy would just come out and kill you, like he would assassinate you from the back. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a pretty good move.
what is happening? Yeah, good times.
What's the new Halo coming out? That's gonna be a stinker, I'm sure. Halo Infinite.
Infinite, yeah, that sounds right.
Fucking
I was gonna say
343.
infinity,
I mean,
to
yeah,
infinite-
whatever.
infinity and beyond, but yeah, I
generic
think
ass name they want to give it.
yeah, I think it's infinite. I think you're right.
Freaking 343. What the hell?
Yeah, the games have
Game
definitely
King.
been, yeah, they've been on a huge downward slope since Reach, for sure.
And some people don't even like reach that much. But I strongly disagree. I think that might be the best Halo.
I think so, because if the controls in 3 were tight, Reach tightened them up even more, which is just crazy.
The hitboxes, dude, are literally perfect.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I know. It's crazy.
The fact that you could stick a sticky grenade to like the propellers of what's that thing called? A
Yeah.
pelican?
Yeah, the Pelican. Yeah.
You can stick it to the individual like helicopter blades and you see that thing rotating hella fast and it's only on one spot. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
I know. Yeah. And I don't know, like, I played a bit of 4, but I still remember when I picked up 4, I was like, like it was pretty cool when I first picked it up. But then I realized like I started unlocking armors and I'm like, man, these are all so busy. Like they just they lost what made the armor in Reach cool and they just start it was like so many armor variations. I'm like, that's not what made them cool in Reach. They were very unique in Reach and you could tell in game looking at people what armor they were wearing. Like
Mhm.
that's what made it cool.
Well, a Donkey has a video about that too, where he like shows the comparison between Halo 1 and Halo 4 of like how hard it is to tell what's an enemy and what's not, just because like how busy everything is, like you said. Like
Oh
even
yeah.
like the structures themselves are like emitting light in weird ways, and like they Halo didn't used to do that.
I forgot about that video he did. Yeah, you're right. Where he talks about how the enemies in the older games stand out from the background,
Mhm.
and in the newer games they
They
blend
blend
into
in,
the
yeah.
background.
It's like, what's an enemy here? I can't even
Yeah,
fucking tell.
I forgot. Right. Yeah, and I don't know. Like I watched the Act Man. He was talking about Halo Infinite because they had that beta a while back, so a lot of guys were hitting on that thing, and then they recently released a new like in-game in-engine trailer. And I mean, at the very least, they're trying to go back to basics. Like a lot of the armor and stuff is from I think from Reach. So they're trying to kind of go back, but I think it's just too little too late now.
They can't. They ain't got the secret sauce that Bungie had.
I
They just don't
I
have
don't
it.
think so. I don't think so.
They looked at Halo and they're like, we could make that. Like, no, you can't.
I still to this day can't figure out how the torch was passed from Bungie to 343, who to that point had made an app for Halo. That was it.
Because I feel like I think what happened. This might be totally fucking hyperbolic. I could totally look it up, but I think what happened was they were just like Bungie was like, we're done. I don't even think they wanted to make Reach. I think they wanted to be done with 3, but Microsoft was like, no, you're making us another game. You're still under contract. Once the contract was over, they're like, take Halo. We don't give a shit. We're out. Do whatever you
True.
want with it. And they just bailed. And Microsoft was like, oh, this shitty company could take it, I guess. It's going to make, the next one's going to make money no matter what.
Well, and they knew that. And that's why there's still Halos coming out because the name is what's carrying the franchise.
That actually happens with a lot of games. Like Crash Bandicoot, like the first couple up to like Warped, I think, were made by Naughty Dog. But then after that, it's made by some other fucking company, and they all suck. Spyro is
Oh, I
the
didn't
same
know
way.
that.
Spyro, I think
Yeah.
the first 3 are made by Insomniac, and then the next 3 are made by some other company, and they just suck. Because I didn't even know that there's Spyro and freaking Crash Bandicoot games on the PS2. I didn't even know those existed until like really recently.
Well, this was the first time I'm finding out about
Yeah,
that.
isn't that odd though? That, like we played those growing up, but never heard about them again, even though they were still releasing games.
Right. Yeah, because we used to play those on the PlayStation 1 all the time.
Yeah, dude, Spyro slaps.
Yeah, dude, I don't like with the 343 thing, it just really bothers me because I still remember back in the day when I used to get on Bungie's website all the time, and there was specific times like once a week they would play Bungie would play against like other groups of people in Halo, and this was in Halo 3, and I think it was right after Reach came out, and one of the first other groups they played was 343. The games, it was like 4v4 to like 50 points. It was like 50 to 15 at the end of the games. Bungie. Yeah. And it's because 343 had no idea how to play Bungie's game. So how are you going to hand that game over to these guys who don't even know how to play it?
Well, but Bungie, they played the game all the time. That's I think that's why the game was so good, is because they were making something they wanted to play.
Yeah, all day. That's a lot of what was on their website. It was people sitting around their office playing the game.
Yeah.
Which, oh my God, what an amazing job.
It would be pretty fun.
I still though the
Shotgun's
best thing is,
imbalanced. Greg killed me.
there was a after they had just romper stomped 3-4-3 in like 3 matches. If you scroll down a little further, there was a GIF, which was one of the first GIFs I had actually seen. Now that I think about it, but it was like a red guy, and it had like Bungie over him, over his chest. And then there was a blue guy dead on the ground, and it had 343 on his chest, and the red guy was just teabagging him over and over and over again.
That's pretty good.
It's just they like you said, Bungie was making the game they wanted to play, and that's what made it so cool.
Speaking of first-person shooters, I hope the next Battlefield is good. I'm so skeptical
Oh,
a cancer, but I want it to be good. There ain't nothing like a good Battlefield.
I know, and I agree, and we've talked about this before. Like,
Not on the podcast though.
no, not on the podcast, but like Battlefield 1 was good, and 5 was good, but 4 was amazing. Like, I sunk so many hours into 4. There was so many nights where I just stayed up all night and played 4, and that never happened with 1 and 5.
I
So-
spent a couple nights playing 1, especially when it first came out, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're good games, but they didn't have whatever it was that 4, like they didn't have the sauce that 4 had.
Yeah, the secret sauce.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about 4 that was so much fun. Even though like you're pretty much doing the same thing every match, it was still so fun.
Well, the thing I think is that's good, like if you're making a direct comparison from 4 to 1, is there's so many options in 4 compared to 1. Like you
Sure.
can approach a situation in like 12 ways from 4,
Right.
where in 1 you maybe have 2 or 3. Like there's not
Yeah.
that many options.
Right. And that was kind of DICE's fault by going back to World War I setting where they knew it was going to be a limited, there's limited amount of guns, there's a limited amount of vehicles. Like if they want to keep it semi-realistic, they knew they were going to have to limit themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, which is
Where-
it's a choice they made.
Right. Whereas hopefully in this one, in the new Battlefield, since it's supposed to be kind of futuristic, they won't be limited by any of that shit. They can do whatever they want now.
It's supposed to be more weather related, supposedly. Like this one's supposed to be like really based around the weather. I know they said that about 4 too. But like supposedly like that's
Yeah.
like you're supposed to be able to like weaponize the weather.
Really? Because didn't even like in 1 and 5, right? Like certain maps would have like a sandstorm or like a
Mhm.
snowstorm or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they've kind of always, even in 4, that's when they started that, and it was awesome in 4 when it would happen.
Yeah, the sandstorm's amazing. Or even like the rainstorm or like the fog that would happen on those like China maps.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, like maybe it was
That's what I
mist.
mean.
It wasn't fog. I can't
Yeah, but either way, it was cool. And in 4 is when they started like that's what I thought was missing from 1 and 5 is the destruction.
yeah, I
like-
agree with that.
And even the destruction even in 4 was tamed down, I would say, even from like Bad Company 2.
Oh, Bad Company 2,
Um,
you could just blow up anything. There was no procedural part about it. I think it was like Red Faction style, where it was like building blocks put together that could be disassembled.
Right. And pretty much every building would come to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
which 4 was missing that, but 4 had those really cool set piece destruction things, like in the Shanghai map where you could bring that gigantic tower down and it would change the whole map. Like it
or
would move the capture point. That's so fucking cool.
or the freaking dam on that one map where you freaking blow it out and it would flood the whole city.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Like that's
So, like-
so cool.
Even though the destruction was a little more limited as far as like more things weren't destroyed, the set pieces were so fucking cool.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is like it wouldn't even happen in every match. Like somebody kind of had to go out of their way and was like, "I'm blowing up the tower." They're just throwing C4 on the freaking beams underneath the thing to blow it up.
Yeah, exactly. I finished plenty of games where that didn't happen, where the tower wouldn't fall.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so I'm
cool.
hoping that in the new one they kind of I hope they capture both. I hope they capture the big set pieces plus the like fully destructible environments.
Yeah, because that's the thing I think that Battlefield does better than any other shooters, like the destructibility of it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, speaking of which, I watched some video just real quick on YouTube and it was a comparison between the newest Call of Duty game. What is it? Cold War?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Oh, sure. We'll go with that. That's the newest one. Sorry if there's a newer one. I
I'm
can't
not
keep up.
sorry. Do not apologize to those monsters who buy that garbage.
Um, but I think it was Battlefield or sorry, Call of Duty Cold War compared to Battlefield 1. Okay, so before Battlefield 5 even. And they were comparing certain physics things. Like the guy walked up the water in Battlefield 1 and he shoots it with his gun and there's like all these, you can see it and you can hear the difference when the bullets hit the
Yeah,
water and you can see all the
sound
little
design in
splashes.
all of the Battlefields is so crispy.
Yeah, it's pretty on point to be honest. And then in Call of Duty, the guy walks into the water and shoots it, and there's no ripples. There's little tiny splashes where his bullets hit. There's no ripples whatsoever, and there's like no hardly any sound effect to it at all. And then it clips back and it shows like Battlefield 1. The guy walks through the water and there's ripples out from him and he jumps up and down and there's a splash around his character. The guy in Call of Duty walks in the water and it literally makes like a mud puddle splashing sound as he's wading through like waist deep water.
Hmm.
And there's no ripples, no nothing. And like I get it. Some people be like, "Oh, who fucking cares? It's still fun." It's like, yeah, but that's kind of important. Those are kind of important details.
The details are what, like, to me, make like separate the mediocre from the good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, like they might be minor details, but like I don't know, freaking like we were playing Resident Evil 6, we stopped and played pool for a couple seconds because we could.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
love that stupid shit that some guy was like, well, there's a pool table in the game, so you should be able to move the balls around, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
I like
dude.
I love
Yeah.
that stupid shit. Like you can like argue all day that it doesn't add a lot to the gameplay, but I would really disagree.
I think so too. And I mean, like, so another comparison they did was like in Battlefield, the guy shot like a RPG or whatever the RPG equivalent in Battlefield 1 was at like a tank. And you can see the spot
That's
where
the
it hit the tank.
recoilless rifle. The only reason I say that is just because I listened to freaking Monster Hunter. What is that? Alpha, and that's what they use.
Oh, okay. Um, but he shoots the tank, and you can see like a like soot stained spot on there where the explosion hit, and then pieces of the armor fall off in that spot, and then it clips over to Call of Duty, and the guy shoots the tank, and the tank like rocks to the side, and that's it. There's no
Wait,
other.
Call of Duty has tanks now?
Yeah, it has vehicles in the newer one. They finally, after about 10 years behind Battlefield, have vehicles. Because
I'm kinda
Battlefield's had
surprised.
vehicles from the beginning.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Even like the old school,
Dude.
like 1942 one had planes and shit.
Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty hyped though about the new Battlefield having 64 on 64 matches.
That's
Are you
insane.
shitting me? That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. And I know some other games, like I think Arma and a couple other games have had those capabilities for a while for large scale fights, but I think Battlefield still does it the best though.
That's where the chaos just comes in that I love. Like it's the best parts
Exactly.
of the game. You're like running
Yeah.
from a tank, you bust through a window, and you're like, oh man, there's 3 dudes in here.
Yeah. And then you kill all of them and the tank still blows the building down that
Yeah,
you're
the
in. And
tank's
you die.
shooting at you, yeah, the whole time. The sneaking in that game is like the best when you're like creeping up on some guys. You're like, oh man, I can't start shooting until I know I can kill them all.
Dude, and when they ironed out the like assassination thing in that game, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the
Like,
dog tags.
yeah, and like it sucked when you're like laying prone sniping, and all of a sudden your scope pulls away, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What
you're
the
like, what's
fuck?"
happening
And
here?
a guy rolls you over and stabs you. You're like, "Oh god damn it!" Like, that shit was cool.
Yeah, and I like that you have the thing of all the dog tags you've ever taken from everyone. Like that's great. Go back and look at them. Oh, you still there, Ryan? Did I lose you?
Yeah. Now, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I was getting a phone call. Hopefully, hang on. Hopefully, she doesn't call.
Well, maybe that's our
me
cue to
again.
wrap this one up.
Yeah, we've been going for a little while, so
So yeah, thank you everybody for
Um,
listening. This has been a freaking roundtable jerk off session about Knights of the Pages Library. Thanks for listening. We were gonna do a book tonight, but as you guys can tell, Ryan's audio was kind of a little off. So we just decided to do
yeah,
a
sorry.
roundtable instead. No, I don't think that's a big deal, you know. It's okay. So, but yeah, but the next book that we will be doing is The Summer House by James Patterson. So keep looking forward to that. We have not picked a next anime yet. So please email us at kotpl.pod@gmail.com with if you have any recommendations for that. And we would really appreciate it because we have a couple ideas. I think we really just need to pull the trigger on one. But if you guys are like, no, you guys have to watch this, please email us and let us know because we're anime noobs. We're squires. We don't really know what
We
we're
are
doing.
squires, yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say, Ryan?
No, I think you pretty well summed it up. Like like Bo said, thank you guys for listening to our crazy ramblings. Sometimes we just enjoy doing these episodes where we can just talk about anything. So hopefully you guys enjoy as much as we do.
Even if
Like
they
you
don't,
said,
who
let us know.
cares?
That's true. It was a conversation we were probably going to have anyways. We just happened to hit record while we're doing it. So.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.